see former students. That one fourth grader who ran in a really amazing 5K, the minute she saw me, she came flying up to give me a hug to tell me her time. So it's a day that I truly enjoy, even though I will continue to take a leisurely 1 mile walk instead of a 5K. This Friday, we will have another opportunity to learn from Easy Ride, which was brought to Oradell by the borough as part of the Street Smart New Jersey campaign. Representatives from Easy Ride will be on site speaking to students in the upper grades about bike and scooter safety. These are just 3 examples of our community coming together to support the students of OPS, which is just wonderful to see. And just one more plug for the community around us. As you know, as superintendent, I sit as a trustee on the Oradell Public Library Board, and if you have not seen their new website, I encourage you to take a few minutes to look at it. I strongly believe that every child at OPS should have a library card and be aware of the many offerings that the library has, from self-paced foreign language classes to audio books to Mr. Iapelli mocks me because I think it's so cool that they have cake pans and cookie cutters. There is so much that our library offers, and the new website is amazing. Even not everybody realizes the library has free museum passes. You can actually reserve it online and know which museum has a pass that day. So I really do encourage everyone to visit, and I will do a social media post because I think our whole community needs to realize that we have a wonderful public library each year by October 30th.
So Board, gotta turn it on. Board, do you have a packet or a handout there that is this full presentation? So you'll probably remember from past presentations that the Department of Education requires all schools to do a self-assessment every year as part of the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. The self-assessment is based on 8 core elements that we'll go over in a moment, and there are 26 indicators. We self-reflect on them from July 1st to June 30th of the school year. After tonight's presentation, Ms. Bozius will submit it to the state. She will affirm that we shared it at a board meeting, and this presentation will be posted online. There is no minimum score given by the New Jersey Department of Ed for pass or fail, but a baseline score for meeting all requirements, which gives 3 points for each of the 26 indicators. That is considered what I would call on grade level, is 52 points. A perfect score with 4 points for the 26 indicators is 78 points. The core elements are the programs and initiatives, training on the Board of Ed policy, staff instruction and training programs, curriculum and instruction, the HIB personnel that we have in the school level incident reporting, our investigation procedure, and our full HIB reporting. So I have for you the last 4 years of our self-assessment results. You'll see starting in 21-22 that we were at 70 out of 78 points. We are maintaining our 72 out of 78 points in this year, that is, or this past year for 24-25, and 23-24 we also scored 72 out of 78 points, and I'll explain why. So when we compare 24-25 to school year 23-24, you'll see that we scored 1 point higher overall in core element 1. Core element 1 is our HIB programs and initiatives. This is an area that I shared with you last year that we were going to look to strengthen by sharing out more of our initiatives with the community. So we have done that, as you saw, with our Week of Respect activities and having a home link and a connection to our theme. But also, every month, our counselors have an activity that is meant to bring our students together and help them respect themselves, respect the community, and respect each other. And that we share monthly with the community. An area for us to strengthen this year and focus on is core element 5. In 23-24, the school safety and climate team met 3 times, which is above the average requirement or the baseline requirement. Last year in 24-25, our team met 2 times. This is because we were onboarding our 3 new anti-bullying specialists because we had turnover, as you know, on our admin team. We were able to train Mr. Werner, Ms. Brancato, and Ms. Cummings as anti-bullying specialists last year. They worked closely with the board attorney to review all HIB protocols, and they walked through our investigations with him to make sure that we were following the law and staying cohesive in what we would call like an interrelator reliability. So that way we're investigating, all 3 investigators investigate similarly and use the state mandates and laws to guide the investigation. We continue to show strong scores in the areas of curriculum and instruction, incident reporting, and investigation. I am happy to share that once again, we did all of our incidents within the first 10 school days, and then the reporting to me for 2 school days, and then I report to Ms. Bozius within 10 days. It is something that we actually work to improve this year, not to take the full 10 days, because that can be very challenging, not just on our investigators and our students, but also on parents whose students are involved in an HIB allegation. Moving forward, last year, the assistant principals did a great job creating a Way of the Panther handbook. You may remember that our theme from last year was the Way of the Panther, and the assistant principals really worked with the teachers to discuss what we wanted to see as consistent behavior across all grade levels, in the classrooms, in the hallways, in the lunchrooms, and on our playgrounds. And we worked on how we walk in the hallway, how we greet a new adult who's coming into the classroom, how to use an I message when we are feeling frustrated with a classmate. And I'm really happy to say that we saw a big difference this year in behaviors in September because we were able to reference the Way of the Panther handbook in each grade level. So we're seeing that consistency grow and help build our respect in our community. Our counselor activities, such as Kindness Raises Spirits, so I don't know if you noticed the ghosts in the haunted house that are right outside the auditorium. Believe it or not, that's a social emotional activity right there from our counselors. It's about how people who are kind to us help raise our spirits. So the spirit is a ghost out there, but it's helping students connect this Halloween time of the year to kindness and recognizing kindness in others. We have been sharing those activities with our community so that parents may talk about it at school, at home as well. So we're bridging that school-home gap. This year's schedule, we were able to change to provide time for all OPS circle meetings and 6th grade advisory meetings to occur after lunch and recess. As I'm sure you can imagine, lunch and recess is a time that we see higher levels of conflict and code of conduct issues. So this allows the teachers who are not typically with our students outside on the playground or in the lunchroom to sit and meet as a class to work out as a community some of the issues that our students are facing with conflict within their peers. We've already seen a decrease in the amount of calls the assistant principals are getting right after recess. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to strengthen and build student leadership programs in our upper grades this year. You'll probably remember we have done a 6th grade internship during their What I Need time. Students can volunteer, fill out an application, and join lower grades to help with academics, special areas, and sometimes within kindergarten to play with them during our play center time. That Mr. Werner has just started doing with our sixth graders. He is going to open that up to our fifth grade students as well. So they'll be able to work on building their leadership skills. In third grade, we are working on teaching our students how to use iMessages and how to help one another solve problems. So they're going to begin doing it with themselves as a third grade, and then because they're at lunch and recess at the same time as second graders, they're going to practice that skill with second graders in the spring. We are going to do some day-long training sessions with our third graders, and we're working with the counselors to be able to do that on some of our PD days. So we'll open that up, advertise it to parents so that students aren't missing a full day of learning, but they would be coming into OPS during the professional daytime. We're going to continue our HIB training of staff and our HIB training of volunteers. Anyone who volunteers for the PTA more than one time a year comes to HIB family volunteer training with me. I'm running my first 2 sessions in November, and then I'll run at least one more session over the winter months. We do have a new vendor who's come in, who's running our lunches. Big Jim started this week. I had an excellent salad from there on Tuesday. So we are working with the Mrs. Scroce, who takes care of our training videos, and she will be sending them training videos on harassment, intimidation, and bullying, because they do have a staff member who will be in the lunchroom passing out lunches. This year, we do need to retrain all of our staff in our 2-hour suicide prevention training. That is state mandated every 5 years. So that will be occurring this year. And something else that you may not know, part of core element 3 is that all anti-bullying specialists and me as the anti-bullying coordinator are required to do legal training to ensure that we are still current on all the harassment, intimidation, and bullying laws. And I believe you have already approved for Mr. Werner and Ms. Brancato to attend an upcoming session that's put together for that. I'm not as exciting as the kids, but do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So overall HIB reporting numbers, do you have any of that data, like how many have been reported this year versus previous years?
So this year we have had none so far. In 24-25, I believe we had 5 reports, and 2 of them were upheld as HIB incidents. Am I?
Mr. Darian, I will find the board minutes where that was presented. It's when we did the SSDS report, which I think was the first meeting in September, but that number does sound accurate.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I know that a lot of the, so what's difficult for us here on the board is, we've had conversations about all these things well over a year ago. And then, of course, that gets implemented and rolled out, and then now we're getting reporting on it. So, there is a lag, and I'm sure that, now we're starting to see the results in terms of numbers. And hopefully this year will be better than previous years. Although the previous years, we haven't had a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think we've been very fortunate
Agreed.
considering. But even still, it's just, I was just curious to see if we could see a measurable difference.
Mm-hmm. I know in previous years, we've always been around 6, but Ms. Bozius and I can put that information together for you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Hawley.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Nutley, did you have a question? No. Yeah, no. Anything else?
That concludes my report.
Mr. Iapelli?
Yes, our auditors will be on site on Thursday the 23rd to begin the audit. I have been uploading documents into a Google Drive that they have access to, so they do their bench audit on, so limit their time here because, we don't have to do all the copying now. We could just export PDF or export into an Excel sheet, so eliminating all the copying that used to be done in the past. But they will be here next Thursday. Our Airedale project still is not closed out. I had a talk with Mr. Pereira today. He spoke with TM Brennan, and I asked for a little write-up to be sent to me, and then I could share that with B&G. Also, Mr. Sikora was here this week, and that's from Land Associates, our architect. The long-range facility plan, he did his last on-site walkthrough, and in about a month or so, he will put together the plan and have him come, and we could share it with B&G to see where we are, questions, what do you think? Because before anything is submitted to the state, he will review with us. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving ahead to minutes, we have the review of September 17th. Any comments, please email Mr. Iapelli. We have approval of September 3rd. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Walker. Any questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey, Mrs. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Nutlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. We'll move to committee reports. Mrs. Norian, would you like to take administrative?
Okay, under administrative, I would like to present the two items, A1 and A2. A1 is approval of submission of the HIB report, and 2 of the district goals.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey, Mrs. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Nutlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker, Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Del Greco is not here. Mr. Darian, would you take that?
Yes. We haven't had a meeting since our last meeting, so there's nothing to update there. I think I would like to mention, I don't know, the only thing that I remember happening is the basketball court was finished with the painting and the texturing of the court, so that's finally resolved. And I think Peter mentioned the Airedales already, so that's the only thing I have to mention there. So with that, I think we only have this agenda item for facility use. Yeah, B1. I'd like to introduce B1.
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Norian. Any questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey, Mrs. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Nutlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Curriculum, Mrs. Norian.
Yes, we're attempting to set up a curriculum meeting shortly, but have not yet. And I would like to present item C1. C1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that, Mr. Darian? Mr. Darian, second. Any questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey, Mrs. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Nutlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker, Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Finance, Mr. Darian.
Yes, we haven't had a meeting, have not had a meeting since our last meeting, so I have nothing to report there. Mr. Iapelli, I think we would like to meet sometime for the budgeting process relatively soon. So, we have workshop coming up, until the 23rd, and then you mentioned the auditors will be here, so maybe after the auditors, we could start, not so much diving through the spreadsheet, but at least discussing, conceptually, what we would like to look at financially, whether it's, I hate to use the word technology, or the facilities, or, whatever. We've been through this many
Yes.
times, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, with that, I just want to introduce then D1 through D6.
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Dorian. Any questions? Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Walker, turn your mic on.
Under authorization to the ESEA Secondary Education Act grant with D6 is what I'm referring to, and then the chart. Does that mean that says Title 2A is 9,594, Title 3, 7,000 something, Title 4, 10,000? Is that money being used, or are we getting it, or what are we doing with that?
Mrs. Bozios, you want to take that?
Sure. That is the money we are eligible for, and then we submit grants to the state, applications to the state saying this is what we would like to use that money for. So typically, Title II goes to our professional development. That professional development is, in most recent years, been in the area of math. Title I, it is our before and after school boost classes that we run, or the Read Naturally class we ran during the summer. I know this year we also have kind of an executive functioning homework class that we are running after school. Title IV is a lot of our parent engagement. So our STEAM nights that we run, we pay for the salaries of staff and the materials for that through Title IV. So we haven't gotten approval yet, but we have submitted it.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll just share on how we're paid. It's a reimbursement, so it's not like a block of money that they send to us. We submit after the event has occurred, whether it's a STEAM night, so those salaries that were incurred, materials purchased, then you submit reimbursements. That's how IDEA is, that's how the titles are. It's not a block of money that the district gets up front and then spends.
So that money doesn't necessarily mean, like for Title IV's, $10,000. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll get 10,000.
If that's what we're
Depends on
eligible
how much
for,
we spend.
if for some reason, say we didn't spend $200 of it, we would carry it over into the next year. But you do submit, then sometimes it's just those small amounts because you are submitting reimbursements. It's not a full dollar amount that they send to us, here's your 10,000.
Right,
So,
okay,
just so
thank you.
you're
I have
welcome.
a question, Peter. So these are federal funds, right? The ESEA? Is this all the federal money we get? Is there more?
Well, the title, the IDEA
Okay.
is a federal program that flows through the state. All of these are federal that go through the state of New Jersey. So the money flows through the state, but that's it. It's the IDEA, and
And how much do we get with the IDEA, do you know?
235,000, but then there's
Okay.
also a portion of that is for the non-public school.
Oh, so we have to share it?
We have to share, there's a small portion of each of these. It's about $860 on different ones that you share
Okay.
with the non-public. So yeah, that's how that money flows from the federal government. It goes to the state, then we submit the reimbursements,
Yeah.
and then we get paid.
You know, I just want to make a comment. I want to put this in perspective, right? You know, we talk about funds and government funds. You know, we're really only talking about 0.3% of our budget. So, you know, it's not even like a tip on a check. I mean, it's just a small amount of money. I mean, just these Title I through Title IV funds is only $45,000. So, I mean, it's great that we're getting money, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, this is chump change.
But if I can interject, every penny counts here, so it's important to know where it's going and what's,
Yeah, absolutely, I just don't want to,
what it's
like,
needed.
give it a lot of importance, you know, oh, we're getting this money from the, you know, from the government.
Any other questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey? Yes. Mrs. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Nutland?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Delegate report, any meetings coming up, Mrs. Larian?
I haven't gotten the notification. I do know that there's a meeting coming up in November, so I'll just watch for that.
Personnel, Mrs. Walker.
Yes, thank you. Before I present F1, I'd just like a quick update on, we met tonight and we covered a number of items. One was we reviewed the staffing update the new teachers who were teaching here, which are quite a few. And Ms. Bozios just gave us an update on things that they're doing and how they're doing. And we also had a staff update on leave replacements. Substitute teachers. As we all know, substitute teachers in all districts are very hard to come by at times. So how they're facilitating that is not an easy task. So we discussed that. And also the New Jersey Department of Ed, what we've done this year is taken the teachers that are highly effective, and then they've been given an opportunity, instead of being evaluated again by the administration, they have an opportunity to maybe teach professional development or some other areas of criteria that are not necessarily their teaching in front of the class, but we're using their expertise since they are highly effective teachers. And we talked about faculty meetings and how Ms. Bozios did, I think it was an awesome job of all this color-coded program of where teachers will be. And not every teacher will be at every faculty meeting, but there will be a faculty meeting every Tuesday. Tuesday? Yeah. So that I thought looked like a monumental task to me to begin with. So it was a very power-packed meeting, but very informative, and I'm sure you'll get an update more specific than I'm giving you for your packet next meeting. And with that, I'd like to present F1.
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Norrie. Any questions? Call the question.
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey? Yes. Mrs. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Nutland?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Policy, Mr. Nutland.
Yes, I've reached out. We're working on a schedule to meet in the next 2 weeks, so, that's coming.
Public Relations, Mrs. Downey.
We're working on scheduling a meeting.
At this time, open to the public.
Jen Allen, Part 2. I was unable to attend the last meeting in person, and I wanted to circle back to testing, today's adopted goals that weren't elaborated on at all, and my previous addresses to the board regarding curriculum over the past few years. OPS has made some changes and additions to the ELA curriculum that I'm grateful to see, but as evidenced by the online curriculum and assessments that this board approved, we're still using a modified Teachers College reading and writing curriculum and assessments, while many other New Jersey schools have followed the research, including schools in Bergen County, and adopted a knowledge-building curriculum and abandoned skill building. You have a goal that's tied to achievement, with differentiation being the vehicle to ensure all students achieve. However, the differentiation within skill-building curriculum only widens the gaps. Knowledge-building curricula, unlike your current curriculum, centers on systematically building students' background knowledge about the world through rich content in science, social studies, and the arts. Students are immersed in a content or topic for a unit and taught to apply skills embedded in the topic. In the previous board meeting, when reviewing the excellent science results, and I'll give you your test results are great, it was shared that the exam is very written heavy and the test is aligned to language arts. This supports why a knowledge-building curriculum works. Research shows the more you know about a topic, the better you comprehend texts about the topic and communicate verbally and in writing in more advanced ways. Students learn vocabulary and context, which strengthens both their reading and writing. This is how a knowledge-building curriculum gives access to all students, including multilingual learners, students with IEPs, and students at all proficiency levels, including your high flyers. While state standards are process and skill-based, not content-based, as Ms. Bozios shared, knowledge and skills aren't opposite, but they're interdependent. It's absolutely correct. Standards emphasize skills like analyzing, comparing, inferring, writing effectively. They're all highlights of your curriculum, but those skills can't develop in a vacuum. You can't learn to analyze or compare without the knowledge to think about it. Building knowledge gives students something to apply these skills to. Having them do so in independent text following a mini lesson is irrelevant for those that can't yet read books with that level of complexity versus applying it to grade level engaging text within a content area. That's how to close a gap versus widen it with differentiation. Research shows comprehension and critical thinking improve when students have background knowledge in a topic. Without it, students struggle to apply skills the standards describe. You can't determine main idea and author's point of view without knowledge of a topic. You can't write an argument without evidence if you haven't learned any content to use as evidence. When you don't learn something deeply to begin with, you don't transfer the skill to new text. You don't transfer it to a state exam. You can't participate in a debate or any type of collaborative discussion without a shared background knowledge. A knowledge-building curriculum is what builds that shared content in a classroom. Cognitive science, and I'm happy to share the research, finds background knowledge is the strongest predictor of reading comprehension success. So why aren't we following the research? I don't mean to suggest we choose knowledge over skills. My daughter gained the most knowledge and skill last year in the one unit that was knowledge building about ancient Egypt that she still talks about and wants to check out library books too. I'm over ancient Egypt, but she's not. Sure, you can throw in a third grade testing unit, much like Teachers College test prep unit, and help prepare some students. Or you can teach students how to read and comprehend deep text all year and go back into text and search in a way that gives all students access all of the time within your daily curriculum. The standards describe the skills students need to demonstrate, and a knowledge-building curriculum is the most effective way to help them get there. Skills without content are hollow. I encourage the board to start following research.
Thank you.
Hi, Suzanne Crowe, 77 Beechwood. The last time I spoke here, I spoke about the population of our kids that are either IEP or 504. So I just wanted to clarify and share some information that we've gathered with the CPAC board since the last meeting. With the cooperation of Ms. Hawley and Dr. Roth, they've been very helpful in sharing information that we find will be useful in future goal planning. We have approximately 18% of the student population either with an IEP or a 504, 13% with an IEP, 5% with 504s. And so with that in mind, I did hear you, Mr. Iapelli, speak about long-range facility planning coming up. So one of the things that the CPAC board brought to Dr. Roth was improvements in how our special education population as well as the general population of the school could benefit from some, excuse me, some better facility planning. So one of the ideas that we had was if you've walked around the building or if you have a student who gets a pullout or a special education type of support, there are oftentimes learning happening in the hallway when the professionals, the OTs, the PT or speech therapists meet with a child. They only have a 15-minute weekly consult or a 15-minute monthly consult. They spend their time with that student as best as they can, but what they'll typically do, oftentimes we've found from the community and from the students, the parents of the students that are experiencing it, is that pull-out time happens with learning in the hallway. And so what we asked and shared as an idea for the future, and I know it's not going to happen tomorrow, is that each of the grade levels in your facility planning have a space dedicated in each of those wings where those staff members can meet with the students that are part of that grade. So it lessens the chaos. It gives them more time to actually be with the students, and the learning can happen privately and more effectively and safely. The other thing that we talked about, which was related to facilities planning, which is something that happens currently at the Riverdale Middle School, and some of you may have students there. They have an inclusion room, a wellness room, where it's all of their guidance staff exists. There's always a person there for triage, and the students have a place to go that they know is a place where it's quiet, there's dim lights, there's sensory tools. So I know that there are many places in the building where classroom teachers will have a sensory corner, or the OT has things available, the child study team has things available, but they actually have a hub. And I think from experience, it has been really beneficial for my student who's in that middle school who transitioned out of here to have that space, knowing that he will always be greeted with a person, so there's always someone there to triage and make sure he's supported, and then all the things that he needs are there. And then from that point, there's supports in place on what the goal is to get them back into the classroom. But I think when the facility planning is happening, that really needs to be paramount. We are a big school with a lot of little kids, so I understand the middle school is a little bit of a different environment where those students are a little bit more mature, they can find their way. So I think that all the more reason why in the lower grades there needs to also be a space. So I don't think that we need one, I think we probably need 2 spaces. And the third part of what we talked about for facilities planning in the future is our goal as special education parents is that every grade level have an in-class support classroom. So that means each grade, regardless of, I know that right now what happens is based on the population and the need of the students, the special education teachers that can co-teach a classroom with a gen ed teacher are put in those places where you see the need. That's fantastic. There are many students that do not get identified easily, and I think that as a community, we would benefit so much more from having one class in every single grade, every single year, exist as an in-class support co-taught classroom, because you're going to catch the kids that are not yet identified. You're always going to have support for the kids who need it. And I think we should not just do the minimum, we should raise the bar. And so that, I think, for the future of the Oradell Special Education should be what the standard is. Thank you.
Moving to older new business. Any older new business? Mr. Darian? Oh, Ms. Downey.
Hi, so I'd just like to comment on some of the comments, or my comment is based on that. I do think that as a board, we should have a special ed subcommittee to talk about these things that have been brought up tonight, and especially what's going on at the federal level with all the firings. I think it would be important for us to have a group that talks about some of these things.
Okay, yeah, I will reach out to, you want like a formal committee formed? So, yeah, we could do an ad hoc or we could do a formal committee. I'll reach out to our attorney to see like how, if, who has the power to commit? Is it the whole board? Is it me? How does it work? And then, we can talk about it and then go from there.
I'm thinking, can you
Mr.
also see
Darian?
if maybe we should approach this as maybe a special committee as opposed to a standing committee?
Like an ad hoc committee?
Yeah.
We're going to look at both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, just that we consider both angles instead of just one.
Yes. Any other old or new business? We do need a closed session, so Mrs. Norian, would you make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we go into closed session.
Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Walker. Roll call?
On the roll, Mr. Darian,
Yes, sorry.
Mrs. Downey, Mrs. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Nutlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, we will not be taking any action after, so.